You know they'll come for you eventually. They always do.
They always do. But not tonight.
June 23rd, 2021, 1 in the afternoon. A Spanish court signs John McAfee's extradition order, transferred to U.S. custody within days. 8 counts of tax evasion, possible life sentence. At 7 that evening, guards find him. He is 75 years old. He has been running across 3 countries for 9 years. He has made over 400 public statements. Every one says the same thing. He would not be taken. He would not surrender. He would not permit the state to own the end of his life. He had said this before the cell. He had said this before the compound. He had been saying it since 1993. The archive files this under a single word. Not fugitive, not criminal. Philosophy. Archive 08. The philosophy. He did not invent the computer virus. He invented the fear of it, and then he sold the cure. 1987, Silicon Valley. McAfee is 42, a programmer at Lockheed, already fired once for arriving on hallucinogens and expelled from a doctoral program for sleeping with a professor's wife. By institutional standards, unemployable. That year, the brain virus begins moving through floppy disks across American offices. Clumsy, mostly harmless. McAfee sees something the journalists covering it don't. The fear of a thing is more powerful than the thing itself. In a 1989 interview, he warns companies face near collapse from virus attacks. He amplifies the panic precisely enough to drive desperate IT managers to his product. Half the Fortune 100 are paying for McAfee antivirus by 1990. Revenue? $5 million. Annually, doubling every 6 months. He calls the board meetings a prison, the shareholders 1,000 masters. In 1993, he sells his shares for $100 million, walks away from the company bearing his name, and never returns. He is 48 years old. He has made his philosophy explicit. The only life worth living is the one no institution can reach. He spent the next 15 years looking for the form that philosophy required. Yoga retreats, ultralight aircraft, Eastern mysticism. None of it held. Then, the 2008 crash took most of what remained. $4 million left from 9 figures. The loss either humbled him or confirmed everything he already believed. He decided it was the latter. In 2009, McAfee boards a plane to Belize. No extradition treaty, no IRS reach. A beachside villa on Ambergris Cay, then a compound inland near Orange Walk, difficult to access. Armed bodyguards, ex-convicts, local muscle. A laboratory he claimed was for herbal antibiotic research. His own logic made physical. A fortress of absolute autonomy in a country too small to trouble him. By day, he pilots his ultralight over the reef. By night, he hosts parties with weapons displayed like party favors. He writes online about corrupt police. He documents his paranoia in obsessive detail and publishes it as philosophy. The compound works exactly as designed. Outside its walls, people whisper about the insane American millionaire. Inside, McAfee is free, completely, totally, dangerously free. Then, on April 30th, 2012, Belize's gang suppression unit hits the compound without a warrant. Tactical gear, armed officers, 6-hour search, no drugs. A paperwork misdemeanor for an unlicensed firearm. He is thrown in what prisoners call the piss house overnight. He bribes a guard with $100 for a single cigarette. Released the next morning, no charges. But a switch flips. The thing McAfee had always feared, the institution reaching into his territory, has been demonstrated as possible. His paranoia begins curdling into something else. He installs tripwires. He sleeps with a Glock beneath his pillow. He begins documenting what he describes as assassination plots. Belize's prime minister calls him extremely paranoid. McAfee wears it as a compliment. He has built a philosophy for exactly this moment. Only the paranoid survive. 50 yards from McAfee's compound on Ambergris Cay lives Gregory Fall, an American expat from Florida. He moved to Belize for the quiet. The conflict is unremarkable. McAfee's dogs bark through the night, occasionally bite tourists. Fall files complaints, confronts McAfee directly. Control your animals. McAfee refuses. November 9th, 2012. The dogs begin foaming at the mouth. One by one, 4 collapse and die, poisoned. McAfee orders his staff to shoot the survivors to end their suffering. He paces the compound with his pistol. Someone sent a message. 24 hours later, a single gunshot breaks the night air on Ambergris Cay. The next morning, a housekeeper finds Gregory Fall face up on his villa floor, 9mm round through the back of his skull. His laptop and phone missing. When police arrive at McAfee's compound around noon, the gate is open, the house is empty. He had buried himself in sand beneath a cardboard box at the edge of his property. He had practiced this. He watched the officers search from inches below the surface. Within 6 hours, he and his girlfriend are moving through a network of safe houses he had mapped months earlier. 3 countries are issuing warrants. November 14th, a fishing boat, $2,000 to a captain who asks no questions. International waters, a deserted beach near Puerto Barrios, Guatemala. 3 in the morning. He checks into a hotel under a fake name, then calls Vice magazine. A journalist and photographer fly to Guatemala. McAfee poses for photographs, grinning behind a scraggly beard. The article goes viral. He feels invincible. Within hours, a hacker identifies the camera's embedded GPS metadata in a published photograph. He has told the world exactly where he is. Guatemalan authorities move immediately. McAfee fakes a heart attack twice, buying additional days. When the court orders him out of the country, he requests deportation to the US rather than Belize. He has escaped. For 8 years, he circulates through Russia, Belarus, Eastern Europe. He runs for the US presidency from a yacht in international waters. He publishes increasingly erratic manifestos. He tattooed a $sign on his body. He says he has evidence of a plot against his life and is documenting everything. In 2019, Spanish authorities arrest him on behalf of the US Department of Justice. 8 counts of tax evasion. He sits in Brian's prison outside Barcelona for nearly 2 years. He tells his wife he feels no fear. He tells journalists the charges are political persecution. He tells his lawyers the US will never take him alive. June 23, 2021. The Extradition Order. 1 in the afternoon. McAfee calls Janice.
I love you. I'll call you this evening.
I love you. I'll call you this evening. There was no evening call. At 7:23 that evening, McAfee is pronounced dead. Asphyxiation, a bedsheet, official ruling, suicide. His supporters dispute the timing, hours after the extradition order. The Spanish investigation rules it suicide. The questions remain open. Here is what the archive records without dispute. He built a philosophy designed to produce exactly one outcome, a life no institution could own. He followed it with perfect discipline for 40 years. He ran from 3 countries. He evaded every warrant. He outsmarted every agency. The Hagakure, Yamamoto Tsunetomo's philosophical manual of the Bushido warrior tradition, written in 1716, contains one central instruction: A man who has committed fully to a path that excludes surrender has already accepted the only exit the path permits. McAfee had never read the Hagakure. He did not need to. He had written the same instruction in his own words across hundreds of interviews across 4 decades. The archive does not call it defeat. He lived without masters. He died without masters. The philosophy worked completely. That was always the most disturbing thing about it. The document was already written. He had been reading from it since 1993. If this archive raised a question you can't put down, leave it in the comments. Subscribe to Primal Vellum. Primal Vellum, where myth becomes memory.